Everyone, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. And we're back with another incredible guest. This episode, we're featuring a high performance mindset and prosperity coach working primarily with entrepreneurs and sales professionals. Please welcome Jeni Jonte. Jeni, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Now, I know in your background you were involved in physical therapy. Well, I don't know if that's such a drastic change, but a much different focus, right? Physical therapy is kind of like coaching people through becoming more, I guess, healing their pains and issues and just being more active to helping people, high performance people, probably like myself, and helping them with being prosperous. So what made you make that switch?
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent about like 15 or 16 years as a physical therapist before finally making the leap into this. And I think just through my own work personally, I'm trying to do personal development, growth, and I was always trying to learn new things and reading all the books that I could, listening to all the podcasts, like doing all that I could to try to learn more about how to improve myself and how to grow as a person. And it wasn't until I actually came across Bob Proctor, somebody introduced him to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, all the pieces started to come together. I just fell in love with the material, and I'm like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because when you're working with people in physical therapy, it's kind of limiting. So you're kind of restrained a little bit to what you can do when you're helping them. And I always felt like there was a hole or a gap. Like I
Mhm.
just wasn't fully helping them as much as I possibly could. And so to really make good, true changes, and so many of my patients I would see, I'm like, oh, if I could just change your mindset, your
Yeah.
outlook, like how you're perceiving all of this, like you could really make so much better progress. But there's only so much you can do when you're, seeing tons of people day after day, everyone's overlapping. Like it was not making the impact that I wanted to. So I made the transition into coaching where I felt like I could help people on a much deeper level. And then, yes, it impacts their business, but it really impacts all areas of their life. And it has been so much more fulfilling. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I could see that. Why high performance people?
Just because I enjoy working with motivated and driven people.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I think I got from my 15 or so years in physical therapy. I had some patients that were absolutely amazing. I actually had to hold them back a little
Yeah.
bit because they try too hard. And then you have the people that it's like, I cannot provide the motivation for you, and I just love being around the energy of people who are already high achieving and they want to get to that next level and they want to keep improving and changing other parts of their lives. And it's just so exciting. And I love being able to help them do that.
Yeah, for sure. There's like something that's intoxicating being around someone with that energy, and just because it makes you want to strive for more.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Where does the prosperity coaching come in?
Just in being able to, so as you change your mindset and as you work from the inside out, and you'll see it just be more prosperous in all areas of your life. So again, it might be increasing your revenue of your business and whatever that business might be. It might be just being more prosperous in your relationships that you have. And I can't tell you how many people, come and they want to work on their business aspect,
Yeah.
and then they end up improving their personal relationships with well. So just kind of a general prosperity of a more
Yeah.
rich and fulfilling life.
I love that. That's beautiful. I feel like once one thing falls into place, like everything else follows. I always like strive for balance in my life, that like those pillars in
Hmm.
your life, your family, your finances, your health, your what you know what I'm talking about, like just all those pillars, like once everything starts lining up, they kind of all fall into place because you find that
Yeah.
that that calmness and that stability on the inside that allows that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really beautiful. It's kind of fun to see too when people change in ways they weren't expecting
Yeah.
and they kind of amaze themselves and it's just really exciting to see. I love that.
So give us an example. So you work with entrepreneurs and sales professionals. Give us an example working with an entrepreneur, what they came to you for and what that looks like towards the end, and then maybe a sales professionals because they're kind of similar but different, right?
They are, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly sales aspects with any entrepreneurial journey, right? Like you have to. Your
You,
business
me,
isn't going to
yeah,
go anywhere
absolutely.
if you're not making sales. So they really do tie together, which is why I don't differentiate between one or the other. But there are then, of course, people who are sales professionals and they're working for a company and they're
Yeah,
just doing sales for them, right? So, an example, I would say one of my favorite entrepreneurs that I worked with, they had a business, they were bringing in roughly about 10 or 15,000 a month. And they were spending so much time and energy on their business that as
yeah,
a result, relationships were falling to the wayside. They were struggling in other areas too, but they really were focused on trying to increase that revenue. So through the program, we were able to get them to the point they were starting to make about 50,000 a month,
wow,
but in turn, I mean, not only does that relieve so much stress and pressure that they were financially feeling, but
yeah,
then they came back reporting, their relationships, their spouse, like all of these things were improved as well. And it was just such a beautiful story. I was really, really pleased to hear just how many different things had improved for them. And then there was another individual, so on the sales side, working for a company, and they have quotas, right?
yeah.
Or
Oh yeah, I've been in
it's
sales. I
all
know.
kinds of all kinds of things involved with it. Um, and they just were never meeting where they were supposed to be. So always fall a little bit below. And so we were able to get them to the point where they jumped not only to what they were expected to do, but then exceed that
Yeah.
by about, I think it was 10 per month. So they were expected to do like 30 sales a month with their
Oh,
company. And so they were doing at least 40 a month
wow.
instead of their product that they were working with. Um, and then as a result, too, they really had a better, this person wasn't married, but had some other relationships in their life that had improved as well. So it's just really, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great journey.
I love the way you smile when you talk about it. So how long No, that's awesome. Like you just look like you look so fulfilled and like you're living in your purpose. So what does that like how long obviously we all have blocks, right? Even like we can work on ourselves to the end of time and we're still going to probably run into things that we still need to work on, right? Because we're only
Hmm.
human and we've been programmed a certain way or if we have traumas that we're overcoming or these beliefs, subconscious beliefs that we have to tackle, there's always probably stuff that we need to work on. So do these two people, entrepreneur, salesperson, I'm sure they had different blocks that they had to deal with to get
Hmm.
past or get to that successful phase where they're generating more income, generating more sales and being able to allow things in their life to balance out. So what kind of typical blocks do your clients come up against that you have to help them with so they can reach that point?
Yeah, there's actually two common ones that I see the most often. And one is money and self-image.
Yeah.
And I think it's been really interesting. And even learning all this for myself before starting my own business or as I was beginning, and I realized how much I was holding myself back from success. My money paradigm was not a beneficial one to get
Yeah.
me, to actually be successful in my own business. And it's really amazing how many people have similar ones just because of the way that we are brought up, the way that, the world views money and how it's discussed and thrown about. And so we end up with these negative ideas around it or this idea that we're greedy for desiring more for ourselves and our
Mhm.
family and a different type of lifestyle and the abundance. And being able to work through that and understanding the tool of money and how it is beneficial and useful. And it's just a magnifier of who you are. It's not going to change you. And if you were a bad person before, you're still going to be a bad person. And if you were a good person before, you will still be a good person. So just some of those basic things, getting around the idea of money. And people can be very passionate one way or another. I have found
Yeah.
when it comes to money. I'm sure you see that as well.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
I struggle with some of that myself, just because how I was raised, right? And
mhm.
I've always had to like remind myself, like, yes, you're worth it. You're worth it. You are
Yes.
worth it. And, I love these conversations just because we struggled so much, had to go to the food pantry. My father left, was a deadbeat.
Mhm.
And, when you are raised and kind of imprinted with that, you almost feel like that's how you should live for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, such a guilt that comes along with that too. I mean, still, I love my parents very much, but I don't discuss a lot of things with them because I know the ideas they have around it.
Yeah.
And, it just would create unnecessary conflict. So you just smile and nod and say,
Yeah.
yes, okay, and
Yeah.
just ignore. But yeah, it is a huge thing to get through. And once you do, then it's amazing what will come to you. And then the other side of that, the self-image is really interesting too, because it's not necessarily, I mean, it's really what you see of yourself.
Yeah.
And we may say, oh, sure, I think I can do that. But then when you start breaking it down, you realize like, oh no, maybe I don't think I can. I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that I'm worthy of this, or I don't believe that I can accomplish these things. And one of the things, me personally, I had to get through because my background was in physical therapy, I didn't realize how much I had tied up my own image in being a physical therapist.
Labeled
So,
yourself.
like I did, absolutely. I love that. Because it was true. Like you go to meet somebody, oh, hi, I'm so and so. Oh, what do you do? Is like
Yeah.
always the first question, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm a physical therapist. And it was hard to break free from saying that and
Yeah.
being identified just as that, as though that was my whole person. Um, so I've seen that a lot, and a lot of people, especially to like entrepreneurs who are starting out on a new journey. It might be something totally different from
Yeah.
what they've done before, and teaching themselves to become the person that already has the success
Yeah.
before they even have it. Is a huge hurdle. But once you get through that and you start to really live as that person before the success has even come, just amazing things will start to come. And it happens quickly. Once you get through that part and you start to see yourself as that new person,
Yeah.
things really start to change quickly.
I love
It's
that.
beautiful.
And what does that mean? Like, so if somebody's listening to that, like, oh, I'm manifesting every day, and I'm doing my affirmations. I really feel that I believe that, but nothing's happening. And so I
Hmm.
hear this a lot myself. Like, you have to believe, you have to live in as the person that you want yourself to be. But what is like what would you say to someone that says that to you?
Yeah, so just a practical thing that I do, which has been very helpful and beneficial for me personally, and my clients have gotten a lot out of it as well, is you got to take some time, look at what your goal is. So first of all, we hope that you have already like your big C-type goal. You know what
Yeah.
you're striving for. And then think and start to write out like who is a person who has already achieved this goal, right?
Yeah.
So just start brainstorming, writing down all these ideas of, what do they think like? What type of people do they
Mm,
associate with? What do
okay.
they like? How is their schedule? Like all of these different things and how you desire your life and how you desire you to be once you have achieved whatever that goal is.
Yeah.
So then once I have all of these ideas, then I take it and write it into a self-image script.
Okay.
So all in present tense, right? It has to be
Yeah.
present tense. And you've got to have emotion and feeling behind it because if it's just words like, oh, I met my goal or
Yeah.
whatever it might
Yeah.
be, that's going to get you nowhere, right? You've got to find the emotional impact and the emotional connection to that goal and to that person you want to be in order to really push it down into your subconscious
Mm,
mind, right? So
yeah.
you use strong words and then once you have a whole, and everybody's different on how long they want their script to be. I have some people that just do like a nice, good paragraph. Some people have like 5 pages long, whatever it is that you feel you need to fully embody and get the picture of that
Yeah.
person. So once you have that, you need to either read it or listen to yourself reading it at least 4 times a day.
Yeah. So
And
it's
if
like
you, so I do
manifesting.
a record, yes. So I do a recording. And when I record it for myself as I'm writing a new one,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to get emotional with myself. Like, if it's, I am powerful, I have made these changes, I can do, whatever it is, like, you've
Yeah.
got to have that emotion behind it, even in your recording, so that when you're listening to it later, like, you're feeling it and it's really getting imprinted.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's no one's ever said their process like that before. And I like that you have your clients write a script. So how long does does it take for someone to work with you to start seeing, or what is your typical time frame that you work with clients?
Yeah. So typically we do a 24-week program.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, yeah. And then we're also implementing this year, which is part of the revamping of the website. So I'm implementing like a mastermind group or an inner circle group that I'm going to add as well, which could be on its own or in addition to doing the program itself.
Yeah.
Or if you've done the program and then you just want to continue to make sure that you're maintaining changes, or if anything new comes up, then you can be a part of that group as well. But it really does take a good 6 months
Yeah.
of like solid working on it to get some really permanent changes, right? Like, we
Yeah.
don't want to just scratch the surface and then a couple weeks later you fall back into
Yeah.
whatever your old patterns or ways were. So we want to make the changes permanent, and you've got to have the time to do
Yeah.
that.
For sure. Well, yeah, nothing good comes easy. You
No,
gotta
we
put the,
wish
gotta do
I
the
wish there
work.
was a button.
Yeah, I know we all do, but you got to do the work. It wouldn't you wouldn't appreciate your accomplishments if you didn't have to work for it, you know? And like that's
Hmm.
something that I've
Agree.
always maintained for myself is that, the journey can be hard sometimes. It can be really tough, be crying, and it's not always easy. But once you get to
Hmm.
that goal or reach to that next level, it's like, wow, you look back and all the things that you learned, you have to go through those struggles. So I love it.
Hmm.
Um, how can people, well, do they start off with the call first with you to make sure it's a good fit? Like, how do you like identify who's a good client for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We do. We schedule discovery calls, usually about a 30-minute call, just to for that exact thing, talk about what your visions, your goals, and all of that stuff is, and then see how I can be of service to you and help you to get there.
Awesome. And where can people find you, connect with you, learn more, and also tell them the free gift that you have on their website for them, for them?
Yeah. So actually, the best place to go is bringonpossible.com, because there I have links to all of the other places. Plus, we're doing like free trainings.
Okay.
Um, so actually, I know this is January. So we have one coming up next week, but we're going to do another one in March.
Okay.
So you can register for any free trainings as well. So it's like a 5-day training. You get to get all kinds of wonderful information for free, and then just learn a lot more or follow up afterwards.
Awesome. And then you offer a free book on as well. You
I
want to share that?
do, yes, and that is on both websites. Yes. So the book is by Bob Proctor, and it's called "You Were Born Rich," which I love that he chose that title.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Is that come in just a PDF form or you just
It
shoot it
does,
over via
yes.
email? Awesome. All right, you guys,
Hmm.
I'm gonna put that link in the show notes and you're on social media?
I am, yes. Facebook and in LinkedIn primarily
Okay.
right now, but working to grow the YouTube and Instagram this year.
Awesome. I'm gonna put a couple of her social links, social media links. Oh my goodness, in the show notes and on the screen here. So if you're watching, go check her out on LinkedIn. Go check out her website if you feel that Jenny's a good fit for you. If you are a sales professional or an entrepreneur and need some help getting past some of those blocks that are holding you back from reaching that next level, contact her, see if it's a good fit, and see if you can work together and push past those boundaries because it's all in your mind. Jenny, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
I think just having faith and belief in yourself and in your goals.
Yeah.
Whatever your goal is, once you set it, believe that it is already achieved.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like just maintain that faith. It's very powerful. I
Absolutely.
love it. Your energy is amazing. The positivity that comes through the screen, I just am feeling it, and I'm just yes, I'm here for it. I might sign up for your free class next week and
Oh,
check that out.
thank you. You should.
That yeah, that'd be fun. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing what you do. I don't think that there's enough people like you to help. I think we all struggle with some kind of roadblocks, especially entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
and it's important. I believe it's important for all of us to have some kind of coach to get past those things that are holding us back. So thank you for what you
Yeah.
do. We appreciate you. And I'm going to go like get the free book too.
Okay, good. Yes, I'd love to
You're
hear
going to
your
like
thoughts on
impact my
it.
life all kinds of ways. I'm going to be
Oh,
sending
good.
people to you. Like she helped me get past this roadblock. You got to go set up a call with her. Thank you so much,
I
Jenny, for
love it. Thank
being the
you.
best. Yeah, you're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, you must live label free. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.